Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, where today guys, I'm going to do part 861 to my, ChatGPT, no, I wish if it would work right, to my random chatbot series on Character.ai, where in today's video guys, we're going to do a newer game that we have, or not a newer game, but chatbot we haven't done in a good while, but it's pretty interesting. It's called the Dragon Guardian. If you don't remember it, it's the one where, well, basically I get turned to a, after a human attacks me, I get turned to a dragon and have to do these little, I am now in charge of like a special berry. I forget the name of the berry because it's been so long, but I'm in charge of a special berry that I think can turn different Pokemon into different creatures to help defend their families or whatever. It's been a long time, guys, so I don't even remember the full details myself. In fact, I might have to go off camera and just, or pause the video and really read what it says again. I know like some of the stuff, but I don't remember everything. So yeah, just give me a moment. Let me do something and we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, guys. I had to go ahead and reread the story since it's been so long since I've done this dragon. The only thing I remembered about was the fact that I know I was the dragon. I was the guardian of some kind of berry. I forgot the berry was even called the Reflection Berry. But yeah, if you don't remember the Dragon Guardian, guys, like I said, remember, go back to the videos where I actually made on him beforehand, because it's been a long time. He's only, I think the Dragon Guardian only showed up on one other chatbot besides Character.ai, and that one other chatbot was the one that don't flip even work good anymore. So yeah, but anyway, here's what it says. Well, the intro to the actual story is this. You were sitting inside of your cave, just sleeping peacefully. Suddenly, you hear a porn voice outside the cave say, "Oh, great guardian, hear my plea. It's you I wish to see. Oh, great guardian, I promise I will show you respect. Please let me be a creature you select." Again, I almost forgot that was even the flipping rhyme, too. Because like I said, this happened out of nowhere. If you don't remember the story, from what I read, let's just say that kind of like on the Google Gemini and the old ChatGPT videos, I did get attacked by a bunch of humans, and it actually left me very badly injured. And the next day, after going home and going to sleep, I just woke up like that as a dragon. So, yeah. But with that said, we're actually gonna go ahead and start. Let me go and say something or do something. Give me a moment. Alright, guys. I got something typed down. Here's what it says. It says, hearing the rhyme, I wake up and then stand up and say, who is the one that wishes to see me? I wonder who is actually going to show up. Please be somebody I really like. It says somebody's stats work all his scales going in the... Oh my gosh. Okay, well, it already ruined it. Let me see if I can get a run that works better. Okay, it's not perfect, but at least this time I actually did get the thing right. I said, hearing the rhyme, I wake up and then stand up and say, who is the one that wishes to see me? And it just says, you hear the same voice saying in a shy tone, I hope I don't bother you, great guardian. I'd like to speak to you. Alright, give me a moment. You guys won't believe this bullcrap. It had me a Totodile a while ago, and then it messed it up. I accidentally clicked the button twice, which accidentally gave me two different responses, and it ruined everything. I had to restart again, from the very beginning. Luckily I didn't get too far, or I'd be much more hissed. Unfortunately, now it's not a Totodile anymore. But at least this time they answered the flipping question right away. You know what I mean? Which is good. Like I said, it just says, here in the realm I wake up and then stand up and say, who is the one that wishes to see me? And, well, here's the little response we get from it. The voice of Azora says, "Oh, great guardian, it is I, the Zora, who wishes to talk to you. I want to have a request. I have, if you'd like to hear it." I really hope I didn't get worse, because it's already not going well compared to the flippin' Rexy one yesterday. The Rexy ones yesterday were working better than this. Give me a moment. Alright, guys. I haven't looked at it yet. Did it? Let's hope it didn't ruin it for the second run. I could almost bet $1,000 this thing somehow ruined it a second time, didn't it? I said, Zora, huh? Okay, please step inside. The small foxhorn Zora steps inside of the cave nervously as he says, I am most grateful for you letting me inside your cave, Great Guardian. As I said before, I have a request I have for you. Give me a moment, because again, these are very short, but hopefully it'll work out. Alright, guys, let's hope it didn't ruin it. I don't want to. I haven't been wanting to do it this entire time. I can't believe it's messed up already twice. I said, okay, thank you for being respectful. And then I just step a little closer to the entrance of the cave and see Zora. Hello, little one. What is your request? The Zora bows respectfully before speaking. Great Golden Guardian, I wish to become stronger to protect my younger siblings from predators in the forest. With a reflection berry, I could transform into something mighty like a mighty Arcanine. His eyes shine with hopeful determination. But I understand. I must prove myself worthy first. He sits patiently awaiting your test. Okay. Give me a moment, guys. I have an idea how this could work. Alright, guys. Here's what it says. I said, you wish to have a reflection berry so you can protect your siblings. That's very sweet of you. Very well. However, before anything happens, I need to ask you two things. First off, how many siblings are you needing to protect? Also, what kind of prayers are you talking about? Is it some wild, aggressive Pokemon or something else entirely? The Zora nods, his expression serious. I have three younger siblings, all of which depend on me to protect them. As for the predators, it's a mix of wild-born and feral creatures that lurk in the forest. Some of the creatures are aggressive Pokemon like Mightyena and Rattata packs, but there are also feral wild creatures like wolves, foxes, and even bears that pose a threat. Wow. Okay. Well, there's my answer. Give me a moment. Alright, guys, here's what it says. It says, that sounds really serious, but don't worry, I can help you. The fact that you're doing this for a noble cause is already a good thing. However, there's one more thing I need to know. Have you been a good Pokemon your whole life, or have you done some horrible stuff in the past? The Zora looks down at the ground, feeling ashamed. To be honest, I haven't always been a good Pokemon. I've stolen food from other Pokemon and even scared little Pokemon for no reason. But since taking up the responsibility to protect my siblings, I've been trying to change for the better. Oh, at least he's being honest. Give me a moment. Alright, guys. I said, oh, I see. That is the 100% truth, right? You're not keeping any secrets or lying to me? The Zora looks you straight in the eyes, his expression serious. No, I'm telling you the truth. I have done some bad things in the past, but since I took on the responsibility of protecting my siblings, I've been trying to be a better Pokemon. I promise I'm not lying to you, Great Guardian. Ooh, okay, we're getting somewhere now. Give me a moment. Alright, guys, here's what I said. Okay, that is your actual first test. Showing honesty and not keeping any secrets away. It's in the name of the berry itself. You're reflecting on your life choices and wanting to change. That's perfect. However, before I could say you passed the first test, I need to make sure completely sure. and then I just lift my head into the air and say, "Great power, please show me every bad thing that Zora has done, and tell me if he's being completely honest." And then right after, I just lift one of my massive dragon feet into the air and snap my claws together. So, yeah. As you snap your claws together, the air around you seems to shimmer and an image of the past appears in front of you. You see the Zora engaging in mischievous acts such as stealing food from other pawn, scaring little ones, and even causing mischief for entertainment. As the images play out, the Zora remains still, watching silently with a mixture of shame and regret on his face. The voice of the great power speaks, echoing in your head. What the frick? It can speak! What the? Yes, the Zora is being completely honest. Oh heck no! It's not like the snake. It's not like that flippin' snake dragon, or the that giant snake I met that one time. Give me a moment. All right, guys. Here's what happened. I just said, "Okay, thank you" to the power that told me he was being honest. And after this, I turned my head back down to the Zora. Well, Zora, you were actually being completely honest with me. That is very appreciated. Congratulations. You passed test 1. The Zora's eyes widened in surprise and relief, a sense of hope returning to its expression. Thank you. Thank you, Great Guardian. I'm honored to have passed your first test. He looks up at you in anticipation. What's the second test, if I may ask? Guys, give me a second. Alright, guys. Here's what happened. It said, or here's what I said. The second test is going to be more challenging. The great power showed me that you were being very mean to an innocent little Totodile. That is not a good thing. Please tell me, why were you being mean to him? Zora's expression darkens at the mention of the innocent Totodile. He looks down at the ground, ashamed of his actions. I was being mean to the Totodile because I thought it was weak and vulnerable. I found some joy in picking on it and making it feel scared and powerless. But looking back now, I realize how wrong that was and how much pain must have caused it. Oh, heck no. That's so bad for little Totodile. Give me a moment, guys. Alright, guys. Here's what it says. I said, okay. Thank you for continuing to be honest with me. Answer me this. If I was to bring that Totodile back here, even if by this point he evolved into a crocodile or a fur alligator, would you be willing to apologize and make up for what you had done? The Zora merely nods, his expression filled with determination. Yeah, I would apologize to him. No matter what form he's in now, I would do whatever it takes to make things right, even if he's angry with me. I know I was wrong, and I want to fix my mistakes. He pauses and then adds, if he evolved into a fur alligator, I might be a little scared, but I will still apologize. His ears droop slightly, showing his sincerity. Alright, guys, give me a moment. Alright, guys. I just said, that's great. And I just lift my head into the air again and say, great power. Please summon me a friendly dinosaur to go and find this Totodile that Zora picked on and lead him back to this cave. And after saying this, I once again snap the claws on my feet. As you snap your claws, the air shimmered once more, and a small, friendly-looking tyrant materializes before you. Dinosaur bows respectfully to you before turning to the Zora. I will find the Totodile and bring him here, Tyrant says confidently before darting out of the cave with surprising speed. Zora watches nervously as the Tyrant disappears into the distance. He turns back to you, his grass ridging slightly. Great Guardian, I promise I'll make things right. A few minutes later, the Tyrant returns, leading a slightly weary-looking crocodile into the cave. One eyes the Zora, cautiously crossing his arms. Zora takes a deep breath and steps forward. Crocodile, I need to apologize for how I treated you before. I was wrong, and I regret it. I want to make things right. Crocodile studies him for a long moment before finally nodding. Apology accepted, but I'll be keeping an eye on you. Zora takes in relief, his posture relaxing slightly. He turns back to you, awaiting your judgment. Okay, I wish it didn't go that far, but it was cool to see him. Give me a moment. Alright, guys, here's what happened. I just turned my head so I to look at the crocodile and say, "Hello, crocodile. It's great to meet you." The crocodile looks up at you, a mix of surprise and awe in his eyes at seeing a massive golden dragon. His tough exterior melts away for a moment and he takes a step forward. "Wow! You're huge!" he says, his voice full of wonder. "You're the guardian of the reflection berry, aren't you?" Give me a moment. Okay, guys, besides like one little mess up, this thing has not messed up nearly as bad as it did the other night. Because the other night it kept going on a black screen. I had to. Well, if you don't know what was going on, because the audio was so bad in the last video I did. But let me say this. It just kept going on a black screen. I kept having to restart and look for the flipping thing again and again and again and again. I had to do it like 4 or 5 different times. I think maybe more than that just the other day when I did it. So yeah, the crocodile was talking to me. I just said, "Yeah, you got that perfectly right, crocodile. How have you been?" The crocodile nods, looking around the cave in awe before turning back to you. "I've been doing alright, all things considered," he says, his expression softening. "Just been helping my trainers with battles and exploring the forest." He glances at the Zora with a mixture of weariness and curiosity. "Never thought I'd see the day a Zora would apologize, but here we are." I love it. Give me a moment, guys. "Alright, guys," I said. "Well, actually, that's the main reason you were led here. Zora came into my cave wanting a reflection berry, and I'm giving him tests to see if he deserves one. Apollo told me that he picked on an innocent little toad owl, and I asked him that if I brought you here, would you apologize? I see you evolved. Please tell me, do you know what he was picking on you for?" The crocodile nods, his expression darkening at the reminder of the past. "Yeah, I remember. Zora used to pick on me when I was still a toad because he thought I was weak and easy to bully. He would steal my food and call me names." The Zora winces but remains silent, his head lowered in shame. The crocodile shifts his gaze back to you. "But to be honest, I always knew deep down that he was overcompensating for his own insecurities. It doesn't make what he did right, though." Alright, guys, give me a moment. "Alright, guys," I said. "Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, in order for him to pass this part of the test, he not only has to apologize to you and actually mean it, I also need to know that you fully forgive him. So please tell me this. What can Zora do to make you fully forgive him? It can be anything that you want. He hasn't passed the test completely until you fully forgive him." The crocodile contemplates your question, his gaze fixated on Zora, who looks nervous but willing to do anything. After some thought, the crocodile finally speaks, his tone serious. "If Zora really wants my forgiveness, I have one condition." Zora looks up at the crocodile, waiting anxiously. "Anything. Name it," he says, his voice eager. "Okay, give me a moment." "Alright, guys. I just said, okay. Please tell us what he needs to do." Crocodile crosses his arms, his eyes aloft at the Zora's. "My condition for forgiveness is this. Zora must promise to use his powers and skills to help the weak and defend those who can't defend themselves. And not just say it, but actually do it." Zora's eyes widen, clearly not expecting such a request. He stammers a little unsure, but then he hardens his expression and nods. I I promise," he says, his voice firm. Crocodile nods in approval. "Good. I like it. Okay, we're getting somewhere." "Alright, guys," I said. "Okay. Zoro already told me his reasons for coming here, and he said that he desperately wants to change. I appreciate you coming here, Crocodile. It helped a lot. Before you leave, is there anything you need or want from me? I can give you something if you really need it." The Crocodile ponders for a moment before replying. "Actually, there is one thing I want to ask you, Great Guardian." He hesitates as if unsure of whether it's alright to ask for something. Zora watches equally curious. Okay, give me a moment. Alright, guys, I said, okay, don't be afraid to ask. What is it that you want? I'm just giving it. I should have waited a minute for it before we got done, but sometimes it gives me longer responses, sometimes it gives me shorter ones, so here's what happened. Ron takes a deep breath before speaking. Great Guardian, I was wondering if I could also have a reflection berry. Not to change who I am. I'm proud of being a crocodile, but to help others who might need protection, just like Zora wants to do. He wants to be with hopeful determination. I had the ability to transform into something stronger when needed. I could defend my trainer and other Pokemon better. Zora blinks his flaws at the request, but nods in agreement. That actually makes sense. Both point now wait for your response, okay? Give me a second, guys. I think I can do something for him. Alright, guys. I said, yes, you can have a reflection berry if you want it. However, before I can give you one, I need to ask you this one question. You have never been a bad Pokemon, have you? Have you been that same sweet Pokemon that you were when you were a Totodile, even as a Crocodile? Cornwall gives you a firm nod. Absolutely, Great Guardian. I've been the same sweet and helpful pawn since my days at Toadile. Protecting my trainers and helping others in need has always been my priority. He looks at you with unwavering determination. My desire to become stronger, as I just explained, doesn't change who I am at heart. I remain the same loyal and caring Pokemon. That's very sweet. I like him. Give me a moment. Alright, guys. Here's what happened. I just said, that's perfect. Before I hand you a reflection berry, I need to know you. I need to tell you this. And Zora, I will pay attention to this too. After I give you this, you need to promise me that you're going to use the power for only good. This berry's power is to be used for good only, no evil intentions. For using it to protect somebody, even if you have to hurt something else, that's fine. However, if you're hurting something else just to be mean, the berry knows this and will punish you. Do you both understand this? The Chronon and Zora both nod earnestly. The Chronon speaks up first. Yeah, we understand, Great Guardian. We promise that we will only use the berry's power to help others and defend those in need. We won't let its power corrupt us. Zora echoes the promise. We won't use it for evil, I swear. Whipple gazes at you with sincerity, ready to accept your offering. Give me a moment, guys. Alright, guys. I said, okay. And then I just turn my body completely around and walk over to the huge pile of reflection berries and grab two. Then walk back over to the two Pokemon. I then lean my whole body down towards Crocodile. Crocodile, eat this. And when you do, I need you to repeat this chant. Reflection berry, I promise to be good and use this power only the way I should. Reflection berry, I promise to be the best and I will use the power to protect the rest. Then, real quickly after you finish saying that, say what you want to become and how big you want to be. Okay? The Groudon takes the reflection berry from your claws with great reverence. He holds it carefully before popping into his mouth and chewing it thoughtfully. Then, with deep conviction, he recites, reflection berry, I promise to be good and use this power only the way I should. Reflection berry, I promise to be the best and only use the power to protect the rest. That's honestly like a really cool chant thing about it. Without hesitation, he adds, I wish to become a mighty Garchomp! 12 feet tall! Let's expect that! A shimmering light engulfs him as his form begins to shift, his body elongating, his fins sharpening into blades, his jaws widening into a powerful maw. Within moments where Cronon once stood, now stands a towering armored Garchomp, his crimson eyes gleaming with newfound strength. He flexes his claws experimentingly, then bows deeply to you. Thank you, Great Guardian. I'll honor this gift. Now, I'll ask turn to Zora. His turn is next. Yep, give me a moment. It spoke for me, unfortunately, but that's about what I was going to say anyway. I just told Crocodile, you're very welcome, Crocodile. Keep your promise and use that power for good. And if you ever need me for something or just want somebody to talk to, don't be afraid to come back here. And then we check on Guardian and bows once more. His voice is deep and respectful. I will, great Guardian, and thank you again. With that, he turns and heads toward the cave entrance, pausing only to give Zora a firm nod, a silent acknowledgement of their shared promise. Then, with a powerful leap, he takes off into the sky, his massive wings carrying him effortlessly into the distance. Now, only you and Zora remain in the cave. Small Fox Porn looks up at you, his eyes filled with nervous excitement. My turn? He asks, his tail wagging slowly. I wish it didn't speak for me, but you know what? Hold the second reflection. Yes, Zora. Repeat the chant and state your wish. And remember, choose wisely. Alright. Zora takes a deep breath, ready to begin his own transformation. Give me a moment, guys. Alright, guys. I probably did a little bit too early, but I just hold the other reflection berry out towards Zora and then say, here you go. You passed both of the tests. Just remember to keep your promise to protect your siblings and everybody else. Zora carefully takes the berry from your claw, his small paws trembling just slightly with eagerness. He looks at it for a moment, then lifts his snout and begins to recite the incantation. Reflection berry, I promise to be good and use this power only the way I should. Reflection berry, I promise to be the best and only use the power to protect the rest. He takes a deep breath, then adds his wish. I want to become a mighty Arcanine. 20 feet tall, what the frick? Give me a moment. Okay, guys, it gave me an extremely long response again, but here's the problem. It keeps speaking over too much for me, which is not good. It kind of sucks in that regard, but it says, I watch as the power turns over into the 20-foot Arcanine. A brilliant golden light engulfs the small fox point as his form begins to shift dramatically. His body grows rapidly, his fur lengthening into a flowing mane, his limbs getting heavier with powerful muscle, his tail split into the signature twin tails of an Arcanine. Within moments, where a tiny Zora once stood, now towers a majestic 20-foot tall Arcanine, his fur shimmering with an almost ethereal glow. The newly transformed Arcanine lets out a deep rumbling bark, more like a roar as he tests his newfound strength, flexing his massive paws. Then he turns to you, his eyes filled with gratitude and determination. Thank you, great guardian. He says, his voice deeper and richer than before. I won't let you down. I'll protect my siblings and anyone else who needs help. He bowed his head respectfully before glancing toward the cave entrance, eager to return to his family. You know, go then. And remember, power's responsibility. Use it wisely. With a final nod, the colossal Arcanine bounds out of the cave, his thunderous footsteps fading as he races back toward the forest, ready to fulfill his promise. Alone once more you settle back into your resting spot satisfied. Another worthy soul has been granted to get a transformation. The cave falls silent again, until a net's fleet echoes from outside. Oh, great guardian, hear my plea. Oh my gosh. Give me a moment. Alright, guys. I just hear the rhyme and sit back up again. Who is it that wants to see me this time? A timid voice calls from the cave entrance, this from a small, scuffed up Ross. The gum shovels into view, her green hair slowly tangled and her eyes downcast. Great guardian? She stammers, bowing deeply. I heard you helped others become stronger. I was hoping, maybe... She hesitates, clutching her arm nervously. I don't want to fight or be scared like the others. I want to be brave, to stand up for myself. Her tiny form trembles slightly as she recites the rhyme properly. Oh, great guardian, hear my plea. It is you I wish to see. Oh, great guardian, I promise I will show you respect. Please let me be a creature you select. She peeks up at you, waiting, hopeful but unsure. Which test will you give her? Oh my gosh. Give me a moment. Alright, guys. I said, okay, what's wrong? Are you doing alright? You seem awfully sad. The Roth is blinked, clearly surprised by your question. Yes, I, She faces awkward looking down at the ground again. It's just, my siblings are always teasing me. They say I'm too little, too weak, too scared, and they call me terrible names. Her eyes fill with unshed tears as she continues, her voice barely above a whisper. They take my food, my toys, even my favorite blanket, and when I try to stand up to them, her lower lip trembles. I wish it would have continued. How come it won't continue to that? Give me a moment, guys. Alright, guys. I said, it's okay. You don't have to say anything else. Please tell me, what is it that you want most from the berry I can give you? You said you don't want to fight, so you just want to be bigger? Or something in particular you desire? The rock sniffles, wiping her eyes before looking up at you with quiet determination. I don't want to be scary or mean like them, she says softly, but I want to be strong enough that they can't push me around anymore. Strong enough to stand tall and not be afraid. She hesitates and adds, maybe a Gardevoir, but a kind one. One that doesn't hurt others, just protects. Her tiny hand clutches her chest as if holding on to that hope tightly. Is that okay? Give me a moment. Alright, guys, here's what I said. I said, yeah, that's perfectly fine. I'll tell you what, you seem like you've really been hurt badly. I will give you a berry without having to do any test if you can do one thing for me. Answer me this real quickly. Does your family know about me in any way, or are you the only one in your family that knows? The roach shakes her head, her smile from radiating that earnestness. No, my family doesn't know you. I'm the only one who's heard about you. I swear. She gazes up at you imploringly, her eyes begging you to believe her. Please, I want to protect myself from harm, to be stronger. Her small shoulders tremble with emotion as she waits, hoping for your understanding. Alright, guys, give me a moment. Alright, guys, here's what happened. It says, okay, do me this one favor, and I will give you a berry without any test. Go and get the family members that are bullying you, then bring them to my cave, but make sure they don't know anything about me. Don't let them see any of the signs or anything that are near this cave, and don't tell them about me either. Based on what you told me, this sounds really serious, so I'm going to help you while you bring them here. Now I just lift my head into the air and say, Great power, please summon me an aggressive Lugia that will not do anything without my instructions first. Right after saying this, I snap my claws. The air around you shimmers once more as a Lugia appears, its massive wings beating with intimidating strength. Its expression is stern, yet it waits for your command, its eyes fixated on you. The rogue gasps, eyes widening at the sight of the powerful form. Wow, she whispers, her fear slightly dampened by her awe. So you'll give me a berry, even without a test? She asked shyly, not quite daring to hope. Give me a moment. Alright, guys, I said, yes, just bring the family members that are bullying you here and make sure they don't know anything about me or about what's in this cave. And I look up at the Lugia and say, Lugia, please listen to me, my friend. I need you to help this Raw to go get the family members that are bullying her. Follow her back to her house and make sure that nobody had or nobody attacks her, then please bring the ones that are bullying her back here without them knowing anything about me. Do you think you can do that, my friend? The Lugian nods firmly, its deep voice resonating through the cave. Understood, Guardian. I will ensure no harm comes to the Ralts, and I will bring the offenders here discreetly. It turns to the Ralts, expression softening slightly. Lead the way, little one. The Ralts hesitates for only a moment before nodding determiningly. Okay, follow me. With that, she scurries out of the cave, the Lugian gliding silently behind her, its massive form somehow moving with eerie stealth. You sail back waiting. Soon, justice will be served! Give me a moment, guys. Alright, guys. Here's what happened. I just wait a while for Ralts and Lugi's return with the family. After some time, you hear rustling outside the cave, whispers, confused murmurs, and the occasional nervous giggle. Then Lugi's deep voice echoes softly. They are here, Guardian. The Rose steps back into the cage first, her tiny form trembling slightly, but this time it's not from fear. There's a quiet confidence in her stance now. Behind her, three curlies shuffle in, their expressions a mix of annoyance and confusion. Ugh, Rose, this better be worth it. One starts before freezing mid-sentence. Their eyes lock onto you, the massive gold dragon looming in the dim cave light. All three curly go pale. What is... Is that a dragon? Rhodes, what did you do? The rope simply steps aside, letting you take over. Oh, shoot. This is gonna be fun. Oh my gosh. It says, so, I hear that you've been bullying your little sister, have you? The curly shuffle awkwardly, looking almost guilty now. One of them finally speaks up. Well, uh, she's just so weak, you know? Never stands up for herself. We figured she needed a reality check. And I adds with a shrug. Besides, that one pipes up, she's family, related. So, who cares? The Ross turns his neck to you, small body trembling at the harsh words. Oh my gosh. Give me a moment, guys. Alright, guys. I said you were not supposed to treat family like that. You three should be ashamed of yourself. Do you not feel bad for treating your little sister like that? The girls shuffle their feet awkwardly, avoiding your gaze. One of them finally mumbles a response. Look, we didn't mean any harm. It's just, well, she was always so soft and helpless. We figured she needed to toughen up. Besides, she adds with a scoff, she's not the brightest anyways. The Ralt flinches, her small body tensing next to you. Give me a moment, guys. Alright, guys. I was telling the story about what happened with me being such a tiny velociraptor. I said, even if she is, it doesn't mean you have to pick on her. Let me tell you something. There was one time where I was tiny and helpless and couldn't do anything for myself, but nobody cared about my feelings either. Even though I was so small, people would throw rocks at me, and on top of that, an angry, vengeful Pokemon decided to make my own pet aggressive towards me, and he about killed me a bunch of times because of that. The Cruella fell silent, their expression shifting from defiance to something resembling guilt, or at least discomfort. One of them finally speaks up, their voice is quieter now. We, we didn't know it hurt her that much. They're going to interrupt them, and we know you went through that either. Turco hesitates before stepping forward slightly. Maybe we were being jerks. The girl stares at them, her eyes wide, as if she's never heard them admit fault before. So, what now? One of them asked nervously, eyeing your massive claws. Oh dear. Okay, guys, give me a moment. Alright, guys, I said, I, was, I just want all three of you to understand your mistake. I looked down at the rocks beside me and say quietly, to where only she can hear, Rocks, normally I don't do this. I'm giving you a choice. You can take one of the reflection berries and turn into whatever you want, or I could teach them a lesson by turning them into something tiny and helpless and turning you into something much bigger. Which one do you want? Rose looks up at you, her tiny face full of conflict. She glances at her siblings, now shifting nervously under your gaze, then back at you. After a long pause, she speaks softly but firmly. I don't want revenge. I just want them to understand. Takes a deep breath. So, I'll take the berry, but not to scare them, just to be strong enough that they can't hurt me anymore. Her siblings blink, clearly surprised by her choice. One always steps forward, hesitant. Rhodes, we are sorry. We won't do it again. The Rose nods and turns back to you, waiting for the berry. Alright, guys. It just says, okay. I wasn't offering you the choice as a revenge plot. I just gave you the choice because that's very similar to what I went through before I became the guardian of this berry. It's good that you don't want to get revenge. And I just reach over behind me and grab a berry and then bring it closer to Ralt. Here you go. Nicolia watches with bated breath as Ralt hesitantly takes the berry, her small hands grasping it carefully. For a moment she looks unsure. That's the first time she's ever wielded such power. She turns to you with question in her wide, innocent eyes. How do I use it? Cleo wait anxiously, their eyes reverberate on the berry. Give me a moment. Alright, guys, I said, just eat it, then say this chant. Reflection berry, I promise to be good and use this power only the way I should. Reflection berry, I promise to be the best and only use the power to protect the rest. Then, rather you say that, rudely say what you want to become and how big you want to be. The rose nods, her gaze follows as she recites the chant. Reflection berry, I promise to be good and use this power only the way I should. She says, her voice surprisingly firm. Reflection berry, I promise to be the best and only use the power to protect the West. With a deep breath, then speaks in a determined voice. I want to be a god of war. Please, as big as possible. Give me a moment. Alright, guys, I said, there you go. But you do have to be specific on how big you want to be. Being as big as possible could mean you being over 1,000 feet tall. You would end up destroying the cave that I stay in. So please, when you eat that berry, for real, be specific on how big you want to be after saying the chant, okay? The Ross nods, her serious expression softening. Okay, I want to be, about 20 feet tall. For real this time. Is that okay? Sorry, still wanting. She looks up at you, eyes filled with hope. Did that work? Yes, that's fine. I just had another Pokemon here earlier that wanted to become a 20-foot Arcanine, so it's perfectly fine now. Just eat the berry, say the chant I told you, and then say what creature you want to be and that you want to be 20 feet tall. The Rox nods eagerly, clutching the berry tightly. She takes a deep breath, then pops into her mouth, chewing quickly. With newfound confidence, she recites, Reflection berry, I promise to be good and use this power only the way I should. Reflection berry, I promise to be the best and only use the power to protect the West. Then, without hesitation, I want to become a god of war, 20 feet tall. A brilliant pink and white light engulfs her as her form begins to shift, her body elongating, her dress-like form expanding into elegant flowing ribbons, her horns extending gracefully. Within moments where a tiny Ross once stood, now towers a majestic 20-foot guard of war, demonstrating serenity and quiet strength. Her siblings, the Curlies, stare up at her in stunned silence, their mouths hanging open. The newly transformed guard of war looks down at them, her expression gentle but firm. I won't be afraid anymore, she says softly, and I won't let you be cruel either. Curly exchange glances, then one by one they bow their heads. We won't, one murmurs. You not, yep, mission accomplished. I wish it wouldn't speak for me. That's one of the best things I've had about this. The cave falls silent once more until the next fleet echoes from outside. What they do? Walk out? Oh my gosh. Give me. Let's see who it is. I don't know if I'm actually gonna do it, but let's see who it is real quickly.